Wait. Oh yeah. Yeah.
What?
Yeah,
What?
we're
Yeah.
good. We're good.
Oh, we're good. We're good to blow. We should have been recording for the past 20 minutes because we've just been shitting on not people this time. I'm actually quite proud of us. We haven't said a negative thing about, I don't know, Vin Diesel or anyone. We haven't said anything negative about anyone except for like Down syndrome people. But we
we
didn't
very
record that, so it's fine.
we very easily could have, but no.
Exactly.
We've been
We've
talking
just been-
about reality TV shows and how terrible they are, but also kind of good.
I honestly think it takes a lot of courage to say that, because I wanted you to say that you did get into Married at First Sight, at least for a little bit, because I also did, and I was worried that you would say you didn't. So
I did, and that's the problem with it, because I got into it for like 15, maybe 20 episodes. That much of it, I was like, okay, I appreciate the gimmick of this show. But then
gimmick is good.
It's people who have never seen each other before. They get married, and then it's just the cameras just roll and they see what happens. It's great. You have about 20 episodes of that, and then you have 20 more episodes of just complete bollocks.
And we were saying that, again, this is another example of the US and Australians stealing our products.
Goddamn Aborigines.
Oh, you filthy fuckers. But like, the thing is, you tried to take In-Betweeners, right? And that was abysmal. That was
awful.
trash. Even they agreed. Then you tried to take things like I don't know. Oh, there's something else. Oh well, okay. I was gonna say you've done it right sometime, America. Well done. You took The Office, and you made it,
but
way better. But
at least that it's basically just like the same, like name. It's a completely different show. Like, it's barely similar at all.
Whereas, for example, Married at First Sight, right? Everyone knows that most TV is fake, but the thing is, the UK version is an actual real service that you can go to without being on a show and be like, I'm lonely, I'm 21 years old, because most of the people, for some reason, are like 18. They're like, I'm not going to find anyone.
I'm never going to find love.
It's like, why are you on this now? But, yeah, so it's an actual service you can go to and get married at first sight. And then the TV show, it's not scripted, they just fucking film you. And it lasts for about 5-6 episodes max. And then the American version and the Australian version, it's just The Bachelor.
That's exactly what it is.
And it's just excruciating. It's just painful.
Like,
I love it.
The fun part about it is that there's horrible people on the show, especially the Australian one. There's like a few like women in particular who are just awful, and you want to see them get their comeuppance. That's all you want. But it just takes so long to get there. And the producers are stepping in all the time, like between scenes, and telling them like, all right, you've really got to drag this whole thing out. Oh, you're trying to cheat on your boyfriend with this guy.
Yeah.
Or you got to drag this out as long as possible to get the moolah.
I think I was looking at I don't know, because like I was saying, I haven't seen like the newer seasons. Me and like the missus started from like the first season that was available, and it wasn't as scripted. And then I saw like a couple of shots or clips from the one that like you and I guess my sister has been watching, and it's like it's literally like Pamela Anderson times like 15. There's like 25 of them.
Big patty
and then
lips.
You've got like big burger patty lips.
Big fake boobies.
Muscle men with booby implants into their pectoral muscles.
They've always got like they're all so like steroid built. Like even their necks are insanely like girthy. Like they look like Pyramid Head from like fucking Silent Hill or some shit.
Yeah, true. And then it's like there was some stuff where like some articles and shit, or people put pictures up where it's like in one scene, a couple was arguing, and then it went to like it cut a few times weirdly, and it cuts back at one point, and like the door number is changed on the room in the background, so they clearly at one point had to stop shooting, move to a different location, and then resume it again. And the girl who had been like kind of crying, so her mascara had started to run, but then when it picks it up in the next shot, her makeup's stellar. So's the guy's makeup stellar as well. So
he's glistening like they've like sprayed him down.
Glistening penis. The funny thing is with these shows is that when you look up like, how many of the couples stay together versus how many are like. This is another thing. In the UK version, they actually get married. They legally get married. In the Australian version, they are not allowed to do that. So they call themselves married, but they're actually not. So there's they're just dating.
Basically, it's slightly more serious, I guess.
But I feel like I can't get angry at something that I've watched for 20 hours. It defeats the. I should have just turned it off if I felt this way.
Plus, you were saying like they're not actually married in like the Australian version, but they don't frame it like that. They never once say like this isn't a legal thing; it's purely ceremonial.
Nope.
So like the whole time, I was like watching it for like 15 hours before I realized like, they're not actually married. They can just they can just leave.
Yeah.
But
there's like no repercussions there. Whereas in the UK one, it's like, shit, we're actually married, and this would mean that we would be divorced. We could end up like Ross Geller. You know, we'll have like 15 divorces under our belt.
God, champion. No one can outdo that man though.
No. But we were also going to talk about Naked Attraction because I don't understand how any watershed on any television station or any country allows that. It's on it like, hey, here's Naked Attraction, 7:30 p.m. Put the kids to bed. It's like, no, they're having their fish fingers right now.
Your kids are eating their fish finger sandwiches, and you're watching.
And here's a fish finger sandwich.
You're watching people slowly get revealed from the crotch up, like purely naked.
And then they'll have like, tonight's movie is Desperado, rated 18 for partial nudity and gore. This is on at midnight.
Yeah, it's like
here's someone's actual testicles.
You see like a pierced penis, and then it cuts to the adverts, and it's like fucking those like shoes for kids that have the little like toy.
The jelly.
Yeah, like they have light up fucking shoes.
Heelys.
Like it's ridiculous.
It's like Lego sets and My Little Baby or whatever it was called.
My Little Babies.
Oh,
it's amazing.
But yeah, that show's on a whole other level because I'm not going to look it up because I'm sure there is. But if again, right, the UK version gets normal people because half the time when you expect. The thing is, you kind of expect to see like porn star kind of looking.
You think it's going to be, you think it's going to be really attractive, like, or like traditionally attractive people,
and it's just like normal. Not even actually. I don't even think they're normal half the time.
A lot of them are below normal because the kind of person you have to be to go on that show, I think, is typically not.
Sensible.
No.
Because if you don't get like a date out of it,
you've just been naked on TV for no reason.
Yeah.
I don't think they get paid, or at least not much.
No, probably not. But like, there's some of them where it's like, I remember one where it's like a guy's actual penis in terms of the muscle was probably 2 inches long. But the foreskin was like, it's like down to his toes. And it was like stuck in between his like big toe and his,
But I love that like the person, because it's like someone who has to stand there and judge, be like, okay, who am I going to go out with? and the presenter, I forget her name, they just kind of sit there making fun of them. Like, it's quite funny.
Like someone has a freckle, like, next to their vagina, and it's
Yeah.
like, ha! It's like, oh.
It's weird. It's a very weird show.
I don't understand how none of the, like, guys don't get, like, boners. You know when, like, say they get picked, and then they have to come face to face with the woman, or sometimes two women that pick them, or whatever. Or they've picked, like, whatever,
Yeah.
whichever way around it goes. Like, and they have to make that difficult decision. That's what makes me laugh as well. When they finally reveal, they get the two choices, and it's like one's hot, one is a munter, and the guy has to sit there and actually pretend to be like,
Now,
can we
I
go
love
to
your...
an ad break?
It's so funny.
I love your confidence and your personality. It's amazing, but you're hot. It's like,
But she's hotter. Yeah.
But I just imagine that, like, they're, you know, he looks at one and there's nothing happening down there, and he looks at the other and it's like, ding!
One of my favourite bits is when they'll, like, read out a bit of information about the person. So it's like, Miss Holly over here has just got a fanny out on live TV. She's a primary school teacher from Wilkesbury. She's they give all this information about the people.
Yeah. It's like people are, like, writing this down as the show's going. They're like, okay.
Interesting.
I'll find them. It's Danny likes hanging out with the rugby boys and getting his balls out. Way, and it's like, come on. This is just like a rugby locker room.
To be fair, if you've ever been in a rugby locker room, that's exactly what it is.
I haven't been in a rugby locker room. I've been in, like, primary school, and it was basically the same thing.
Yeah.
But just, like, little boy wiener.
It's in like secondary school when you have to play rugby. It's always the rugby lads who just don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
But anyway, I don't even know what. I mean, how are you doing?
I'm alright, I guess. Got sort of a bit swamped with some work at the moment, but also not, because I don't care enough to really put in the effort for it.
That's fair enough, I think.
You know, it's like I always find when I'm working on something, like for uni, I'll sit there for hours, like trying to get it right or trying to make it better, and then I'll just go back to what I originally had.
Yeah.
I find that with everything.
It's funny as well, because with uni, I swear it's like, oh, we want you to do this project, and maybe it sounds cool, but because it's for uni and it's not for you, you just don't care. They could literally be like, here's 10 grand, make a film with that 10 grand. You'd be like, but it's for the uni. But then if they said to you, oh, you know what? Keep the 10 grand. You don't have to do this project anymore. You'll then be like, shit, I'm going to go make a film. What?
Yeah, I'm going to do what I actually fucking want to do.
They need to play the, like, reverse psychology card. I would if I was a
Yeah. You always get, like, with these projects, like very specific requirements that just kind of ruin it.
Mm.
Like, you have a really specific idea in your head, but you can't do it because, you know, of one, like, you know, element that you have to either include or can't.
And then it's like, I had that in uni as well, and it was like, oh, okay. Well, I would tell, like, my tutor, I'd be like, oh, I have this idea, but there's one part of it that I can't physically fucking do. And instead of giving me tips on, like, well, maybe rein it back a bit. Maybe that idea, maybe you can show it metaphorically. You can do it differently, maybe with dialogue. No, they're just like, well.
Yeah,
it's like,
what are you going to do?
Oh, okay, well, I guess I'll just give up then.
Do something else then.
Yeah, just make it black and white. So, okay.
Yeah. Oh my god, I hate student short films.
I love
like,
students.
I pretty much have, like, given up all hope with actually making one myself, and I just, like, end up, you know, doing stuff for other people's, and, like, just doing like music or, like, sound editing and stuff for other people's, because oh god, they're just all awful.
I don't think anyone has ever made a good student short film.
No. Like, they really are terrible. We should do a whole series where we just watch and make fun of them, because when I was in, like, college, that's all me and my friends would do. We would just sit there in lessons, and just
the
like
thing
take
is,
the piss out of people's.
we went to the same college, so I'm sure we probably laughed at the same ones at some point.
Probably.
There were some crackers.
Oh,
Like
you could find some great stuff by just going through like the hard drives and just going to like really old files.
I told you about one where it was all in black and white, and it was like a fight between this like really dumb fat guy and this really other dumb fat guy, and they used the Mission Impossible music.
Oh my god! Every single year there are those people. Every single time, like they're really like passionate about like action movies and stuff, which is great. But if you're just like a student, like if it's just two guys with a camera and they have to act in it themselves, you can't do that.
Like they're aiming for what they think in their head is John Wick. What they end up doing is Steven Seagal. It's like
no, what they end up doing is like Paul Blart. But even that has
are there
better
action
actions.
scenes in Paul Blart?
Yes, of course there are. He's the mall cop. But like,
how could I forget?
Those are my favourite ones. The ones where it's always like kind of tubby guys who think they're so cool.
Yeah.
They'll just take music that like Quentin Tarantino used in one scene, and like have a guy wearing a mask. Like they'll have like their toy sword. Yeah, their toy swords like throwing them about and shit.
I remember there was one as well where it was like this man was a vampire and he was running around streets, but it was in black and white and it was shot on like 480p like DV tapes, and it was like this was before I knew about the whole like fedora neckbeard gentleman, but he was that unironically. It's like I wish I could go back now and just I wish I had those.
Predated the culture.
Do you know what? I've got a bag of old DV tapes, probably about 20 of them. I don't know how I got them. I must have stolen them from college one day. But I can't play. I have nothing to actually play them through.
Oh.
If we can set that up, I guarantee there's some gold on these
There's some
tapes.
gems in there.
Honestly, really. Let me just hold on. Keep talking. I'm gonna see.
Yeah. Oh, that would be amazing. I mean, if people would be interested in... Yes!
I mean, this looks like an evidence bag that I've nicked from, like, the local police station, but...
Your footage they found in Uncle Tommy's basement.
Yeah. Snuff films. Wedding rehearsal. God knows whose wedding that was. I think none of these are mine, by the way.
That you just took them.
Digitized. Digimon?
Digimon are the champions?
Dance lesson.
Oh. That's probably not as interesting as it sounds.
I don't think... Even the one that says dance lesson, I guarantee it's going to be some kind of artsy short shit. Capture the flag.
That'd be good. That's got to be good. Yeah. I think my specific favorite one from college is one of a guy who he thought he was like making this amazing like sci-fi drama, and he went to like a sort of convention, like a comic book type thing, and he got the guy. He was an actor in Game of Thrones. I can't remember which one. And he was like, hey, could you quickly record this line? And he like recorded it through his phone and it sounded terrible. And he played it over footage of a toy dragon in one of his scenes. It was amazing.
Did he animate the toy dragon?
No. He added he gave it like glowing eyes. But it was just a PNG of blueglow.png on Google Images. Oh, it was amazing.
I love that. I love... Oh, God. This is why we need to, like... Oh, here's some stuff. Like, one of these is Foundation Showreel. So I'm imagining that this will be the lowest course entire year showreel.
Oh, yeah, Foundation is like the... That is like the lowest set, I think. in
I think so.
UK college at least.
Yeah, I'll try and find a way of getting these onto the computer.
Hopefully we'll find some gems.
I hope so.
So yeah, if people are interested in us doing videos where we just watch student short films and take the piss out of them, please, I hope you do, because that'd be really fun. I'm sure we can dig out some gems from our past, maybe even laugh at some of our own.
I'd love that. I mean, you're in one of mine, but I'm actually kind of proud of it.
That's true. God, that was great.
I mean, it was just... I swear we got you out of school a few times to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, we did actually. That was when I was in primary school.
It actually was.
Oh my god.
And I remember there was one scene where I had to get Mum to pretend like you're gonna die. She really nailed it.
God.
But don't you? I always fear though, because I really want to do that. I really do. But don't you ever worry that? Okay, for example, I love Ralph the Movie Maker. Like, I love his content. Like, I think it's fucking great. It's funny.
Yeah.
His recent stuff, obviously, it's not like he used to do.
No.
It's still like cool. Whatever,
like his stuff, like the not Undercover Boss, whatever the.
No,
like
yeah, that
weird
that
version
was
of that.
Charles Starles.
Charles Star.
I'm Charles Starles.
Oh.
Like, his stuff back then was way better, but
so good.
But then he critiques all these things. But then when he comes out with his own
movies,
I don't know how. I don't want to. Yeah.
What was his short film, or it was like kind of a full length thing even?
Wasn't there one called Candy or Love?
Yeah, and it's like, I mean,
like, it's not like not terrible by any means, but
that is like quite an issue, because you can make amazing movies on like literally no budget. Like,
yeah,
the movie Tangerine is fucking amazing, and that was shot on an iPhone like 4.
I love how that director was like, yeah, I shot this on iPhone 4, but for my next film, I want to shoot it all on real film. It's like, and I want Willem Dafoe. Okay.
Oh, that was pretty good though.
Yeah, it was a weird one. It was almost because we watched it and we didn't really know what to think of at the end, but did we? We were like, it was good, but it was just like real life.
Well, yeah. What was it called?
It was about Disneyland, wasn't it? Like the kids living in the.
They live in like the hotels, like behind Disney World. That are like really shitty.
I actually can't remember what it was called.
That's gonna bug me.
Florida Project.
Ah, thought it was gonna be a more thought-provoking title than that, but.
So here we go. Ralph Seppi. He did that film called King Candy.
King Candy. That's right.
And Lover.
Ooh,
Lover is his most recent one.
That was the one I was thinking of.
And I feel kind of bad because I'm looking at the IMDb rating, and you think about how many people he has subscribed. Any of these people, like YMS, like I Hate Everything, like if they make something, typically you'd expect that the ratings would be pushed up by their followers. Yeah. But Lover has got like 5.6 on IMDb. It's kind of sad. I mean, he still made something, so that's what counts.
No, I mean, totally. Like, even if it's not like high production value, as long as you've put something out there that you care about, go for
it. But yeah, we'll definitely try and do that.
Yeah,
try and get some laughs coming in.
There are so many people though who, like, sort of we've talked about, they don't they always have not tunnel vision, but they're unable to critique their own work, and they just won't accept criticism, like those people who make those terrible student films.
Yeah,
like for uni, every single set I've been on, we've had the person directing it who just won't listen to us. They just don't. They don't care. Like, I was doing sound. I've done sound on a bunch of projects. I'm like, look, I need time to set this up. We need to get a bunch of coverage. They don't give a shit. And it just makes a worse product.
Because all they can see is, look at me, I'm directing. I'm on a set. I'm the manager.
Exactly.
But then the end product is what actually is going to represent you.
That's what people are going to judge you by.
Like, you need to listen to the cinematographers and the entire camera team. You need to listen to the lighting guys. You need to listen to the sound crew.
Yeah. It's really stupid because if you don't have all that footage, all that coverage you need for a scene, you have so little to work with, and you have no creative options really.
No. There was something I was watching the other day. This isn't like a student thing, but it just got me thinking, and I had to look it up. But like, oh shit, I'm gonna have to look up. I can't remember what it was. Basically, it was a film that the whole thing was like ADR'd, like almost the entire movie was like dubbed. Not because they had to, but because they clearly were fucking up somewhere. And it's like someone would turn around and be like, we need to go there. And it was like, we need to go there. And it's like every single scene. And this was like a big budget, like... I think when you look hard, it's the problem though, isn't it? Like, we can watch a film with our mum or like mates who aren't really invested in the craft of it. And they won't notice these things and they don't care and they'll be like, great film. But it's so hard to shut your brain off. I rewatched John Wick 3, right?
Yeah.
And great film anyway, but basically there was some... I think it was because it was from Netflix, it was like coming out at 4K. And I had like the dynamic setting. So it was like boosting everything to be like 4K resolution and everything. It didn't help it. Because the amount of fake CGI blood and dust particles and fake gunshots. Usually you don't notice it in John Wick because it's dark and everything.
It's dark, moody,
and I was
so
like,
fast
holy
paced.
shit. Yeah. But it's like the muzzle flashes of the guns in the final, like...
It's literally like one of the... They always look like one of those green screen shots you can grab off of YouTube.
Yeah.
That it's like gun flash, and it's like you have to key out yourself and everything.
Yeah.
And you always get...
And I was like... Yeah, and it's like you wouldn't notice it really, but like there were tiny things where it's like... It was mainly the scene where the Continental gets invaded by all like the SWAT teams essentially that have like the bulletproof armor. And like John Wick's firing like the gun. And it is just that, what you said, it's the green screened YouTube effect coming out. And you can tell because they didn't even bother to add like the lighting glare. He's next to a metal like grating and he's firing. Some light would come off that, but they didn't bother. So it's really bright, but there's no light around where the shot's coming from. And it's little things like that. But and then the blood as well. It's like that weird... It doesn't look right.
No.
But it's like... You wouldn't notice that. And like that's nothing against John Wick. It's just you notice it. You're looking out for it. Whereas anyone else would just be like, cool.
But then that's like the issue with making those kind of movies that are so reliant on the action is if that's something that skips your mind or you just don't even think about it, it's you can't fix that really.
No.
Like you could, if you have a shot where like Keanu Reeves is shooting a gun and he just pulls the trigger and he's not like acting as if it was a real gun, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you see that a lot. Like people have a pistol, they just go psh, 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 psh. It's like that's not how a gun would actually act.
There was actually, again, I feel like I'm shitting on John Wick 3. But it's really, I love that film. I think it's probably the best one, but that's my opinion. I think there's a scene where... 2 is pretty good. But like, there's the bit where him and Halle Berry have defeated everyone in a compound with the dogs,
Yeah.
and they walk past a guy is on the floor being attacked by one of the dogs. Again, clearly you can see he's got like the
Padding and stuff on.
the padding. Fair enough, fine. But they both walk past him and shoot at the ground at him. But again, the muzzle flash is slightly off from where the end of the gun barrel is. And yeah, you're right. They don't recoil. There's nothing. They're just like,
Yeah.
which it's fine because it's like it's so quick paced, and you know that like, especially that compound scene. That's where I noticed a lot of like where they're getting shot at from behind a wall, and it's fake dust.
Yeah.
Because of course, they probably had, if they had squibbed it all out and got like detonation stuff going on, if they'd fucked it up once,
it's like,
yeah, like, so I do get it, but
obviously, like, doing that, it's super time consuming. It's really expensive. Like, if they did all of that, like, on, you know, in real time on set, that would be their whole budget gone on that one scene. And
well, that's the thing. Like, you have to take out it. The film needs to be good enough to put you in suspension of disbelief, doesn't it?
yeah,
When you really start thinking about it, I almost annoyed myself because there's a bit where he's fighting two guys in the horse stable in New York as well.
yeah, great
Right?
scene.
And they're firing the guns off, and these horses are just like,
Yeah, they would be freaking out. They'd be running around.
exactly. And then you're like, because then you think about that, and then you look at the muzzle flashes, and you're like, oh yeah, there was nothing there, nothing going on, and it's like, okay, fine.
But again, like I think any filmmaker worth anything they know that when they're shooting a scene, but they're weighing it up of like, okay, how much can we get away with? Because a lot of people aren't going to think about that kind of thing.
Exactly. And because it's so fast paced, you don't have long enough to really think about it unless you rewind it.
Yeah, definitely. But like you know that there's the scene in the second one where, I mean, there's a bunch of scenes in the second one that don't make any sense, but they're still really good anyway. You know, when he's fighting Common and he's going through the subway and they're shooting, they're firing like pot shots off each other with silenced pistols, and like it's like dead silent and no one in the subway like tunnels hears it. It's like that's not how a silenced pistol actually would sound.
No.
Like, that's not how that works.
It's hitting, like, the columns, and it's going... and everyone's just like, I'm going to work. There's a similar bit where, when he comes back to New York in 3, these two guys in a subway again are coming up to him to, like, fight him, but then they get stabbed by the ones who are trying to... They let him go back to the Continental. No one reacts. They stab these people in their faces and then carry them away into the crowd. It's not Assassin's Creed where you just stand in the crowd and you blend in.
You blend when you can like walk with the nuns and stuff.
Yeah.
Like someone would pick up on that.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like, how far do you go? Because then there's like the fight with the twin-looking people who they basically could kill John Wick right there. But then they're like, it's such an honor to face you, John Wick. Yeah. And then they help him up. And it happens like 3 times. And you're like, just kill him then.
And then when he beats them once, barely, he just fucking kills them. That always really bothered me.
No, I know.
Like, he should have just let them go. But like, again, in the second one, another scene with Common, when they're like rolling down the stairs.
For
makes
like
no
20 years.
Like, they're not even steep stairs. They're just rolling around on top of each other. Doesn't make sense. But like... It's so entertaining to watch, you don't even think about it.
Exactly.
That's why it works in those movies.
Yeah. You can, like... Because you just accept that that's a fact of life in this world. Like, the doctor, right at the start of the third one, when he's like, they're not going to believe that I stopped on the dot, you're going to have to shoot me. Just do it here. And he's like, okay, bang. And he's like, another one here. It's like, really?
Yeah, come on.
Come on. But anyway, enough shitting on John Wick. It's a great series.
We love John Wick. John Wick is one of the greatest trilogies of all time.
It actually is.
Even though it's not going to be a trilogy anymore because they're doing like a bunch more. They should have
And
just
then,
done
like, a
three.
TV series. Yeah.
It should have just been 3 movies. But they couldn't do that.
No. Because it brings in the big bucks, and it's quite cheap to make.
Mm.
From going to from shitting on John Wick, can we shit on Nintendo?
Oh, please.
Okay, right. I don't care. Breath of the Wild is great. Mario, we love the guy. Mwah, well done, Mario.
He's brilliant.
He's a great little guy. We
Class
love
act.
Metroid. We love everything. Nintendo, but Nintendo themselves, they're just.
They have been going.
What were they
downhill.
thinking?
They've been going so downhill ever since they lost Reggie.
Reggie was the key man.
Like, don't know what
Now
he
they're
was
cursed.
doing. Something was going right with him. Oh god, that Nintendo Direct that they did was just awful.
It was really bad.
I got genuinely frustrated watching it.
Like, what was it? Like a 50-minute presentation.
Yeah.
Admittedly, there was some cool games being shown off.
Yeah, that's pretty cool stuff. I
Triangle
guess.
strategy, whatever the fuck. Like, I love Octopath Traveler, so a semi kind of
Yeah,
thing.
Triangle Strategy Project Part 1 or something, like, had a stupid name, but it looks kind of
Yeah.
cool. We didn't need to see an entire walkthrough of every single mechanic in the game, though.
No, we didn't. No, we
'cause
didn't. Because there was a demo for it as well.
Yeah,
Just
I saw that and I was like, oh, this looks kind of cool. Then they explained every single feature of the game. I'm like, okay, don't let me play the demo. Now I know exactly what's
Nintendo
going to
have
happen.
like. It's funny though, isn't it? Because like Nintendo do have, even though they'll cater this to like the American market as well and like Western audience. No matter how you get someone to translate things, they just describe things in weird, just bizarre ways. When they're like, "Ha, what? Look at this guy! You can even tie your shoelaces! Haha, how cool!"
Wow,
It's like
amazing.
okay. Oh,
The amount
wow,
of detail,
incredible. But it's like, I think genuinely, what really pissed everyone off. This is Zelda's 35th anniversary.
Yeah.
2 years ago, nearly 3, they showed off a cinematic trailer. Not even a cinematic, like in-game footage
Proper
trailer.
trailer for Breath of the Wild
Breath
2.
of the Wild. Nearly 3 years ago. And here you are, the first Nintendo Direct since then. On the anniversary. Hi, you bring up the fucking creator who stands there and says, I bet you'll...
You're wondering what's happening with Breath of the Wild 2. Well, guess what? We have
Go
nothing
fuck
to
yourself.
announce. Fuck you. Fuck
What
you
do
for
you mean?
caring. Fuck you for caring about
fuck you.
this. Like,
But here's a $60 HD, we've just widescreened the shit out of it, version of Skyward Sword.
The game
Oh,
no
thank
one
you.
likes. No one really thinks like, oh, that's my favorite, Zelda game. Like, I can understand if your favorite Zelda game is Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask,
Wind Waker.
Wind Waker, Link to the Past, any of those. I'm like, okay.
But Skyward
Why
Sword.
Skyward Sword?
And the thing is that gets me is that all the predictions were like, look, they won't announce... A lot of people were like, they're not going to give a date for Breath of the Wild, but they're definitely going to bring out a 3D Zelda 3D Collection HD, like they did with Mario. They didn't even do that. It's one game,
It's just the one game.
slightly up-resed, but I don't know if you've seen the comparison shots. In some of them, it just looks worse than the Wii version.
It looks awful. And talking about that, the fucking Splatoon 3, that looks awful. That
Right.
looks worse
I'm
than the
so
first one.
glad you said that, because I'm about to share my screen.
Oh, God.
Right. Can you see that?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so, right, hold on. So, obviously, Splatoon 2. Okay, look,
I think it's pretty good looking.
it's got shiny visuals and but compared to like all the realistic metals and shit, nice, kind of
Yeah.
cool. And here's Splatoon 3. It looks the fucking same. Look at this pylon thing.
I honestly think it looks worse. Like the models look
Yeah.
like way blockier, and like the textures are weird. And why set it in a dusty, like colorless desert when the premise of the game is literally being as colorful as possible?
Because it's probably cheaper.
That's all
I
you've
don't
got
know.
going for you, Splatoon.
Fuck you, Splatoon. But the
And-
thing is like this was their big reveal, and it started on that opening shot of like the kind of deserty
Yeah,
like ridge. I was like, oh my god, is this Pokemon? Like, is this
Yeah.
something like that?
yeah,
Really?
that's what I thought. And the fact that they didn't announce the Gen 4 remakes is what really got me. That's
Yeah.
all. That's all I wanted personally. Because Gen 4 are my favorite Pokemon games. That's all I wanted.
No. There is, as of recording this, tomorrow there is a Pokemon Direct. I don't know why anyone should bother getting excited because the last Pokemon Direct we had there was like nothing.
All they showed was like a new feature for like Pokemon Go, and then a terrible like MOBA app.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Just Nintendo, for some reason, have been getting by just giving people what they don't want.
yeah, it doesn't quite make sense.
Like, I think a great example, and I'm sure people out there agree with this, the Paper Mario RPG series, right? Thousand Year Door, when that came out, that was like fucking awesome.
Classic.
And
game.
classic game. Ever since then, everyone they've brought out has got rid of the features everyone loved in those games. And then,
added in new ones they don't like.
yeah, they get all this criticism and feedback saying, we want it to be just like Thousand Year Door. Go back and, like, but they don't. Nintendo don't listen.
No.
But they just continue to make stuff. It's so weird. Like, this screenshot, I love how they ended on this screenshot, like this was supposed to blow people away.
Yeah, it's like, so, what, this looks really boring. Like, why would I want to run around this world? There's nothing going on.
Yeah. Because clearly you're not able to get up here. It's not like you can, I don't know.
No. Because we know
Glide
how
around up
Splatoon
here and
mechanics work. We know
Yeah.
that, like, you're literally just going to run around, maybe go into a couple of shops,
Yeah.
and that's
Oh,
it.
wait, new news. Nintendo hiring Splatoon 3 level designer to renovate existing stages. So what they're going to do...
That's not going to be good.
No. So they're just going to regurgitate levels from 2, basically. And 1.
Basically.
Great.
But I feel like we're getting pretty heated over stuff that we shouldn't really care about. But since we are, I want to talk more about the Pokemon thing. Because
Go for it.
Because I love Pokemon. Pokemon is one of my favourite things. Love the games. And there
Yeah.
hasn't been a seriously good Pokemon game in like 10 years. Because they all have features that just suck. Like, the X and Y games were like kind of cool. They added in a lot of new stuff. Like, it was cool to see Pokemon in 3D models, but the game itself kind of sucked. Because, like, the story was a bit shit. Gym leaders and stuff kind of boring. Then Sun and Moon comes along. They fuck it up even worse. It's basically the same game, except you don't have gym leaders, which everyone loved. Like, the story is terrible. The characters are annoying. Then Sword and Shield does basically the same thing, where it just makes everything worse.
Yeah. Again, like I just said, Nintendo don't listen.
No.
Because...
Bring
all it
back Mega
takes is
Evolutions.
one game to make back their entire budget for the year of every game they're in development. And that was Animal Crossing.
That was Animal Crossing. Like, don't
So
know.
it's like, why would they listen to people?
No, because people are, they're still gonna buy the games. That's the thing.
Yeah.
They, like, yeah, Pokemon Sword, when that was shown, people were like, this looks terrible. They shouldn't, release a Pokemon game like this. Yet everyone went out and bought it.
Yep. Because
And-
gamers are the worst types of people.
They're the biggest hypocrites.
Yeah. It's like recently about the whole WB patenting the Nemesis system. And people being so furious about it for like a week. And then there's like a screenshot of Gotham Knights coming out. And everyone was
And they're
like, oh, I can't wait to play
this
it.
looks
Oh,
so
yay.
good.
It's like, you're just feeding into it. Like the best, vote with your wallet.
Yeah,
Like
that's the
if you
only
don't like
way.
something,
That's the only way to make game companies listen. And
you can make petitions, but no one cares.
yeah, it's like white girls on Instagram signing petitions to stop racism. Doesn't work.
Yeah.
It's like it doesn't. It does fuck all. If you think a Pokemon game looks bad, don't buy it. But then I'm super guilty of doing that. You know.
Has there been anything that you have like been kind of vehemently against?
I was
And
adamantly against Pokemon Sword and Shield, but
Okay,
then,
yeah.
but to be fair, I waited for like a year to actually play the game, and I just got it as cheap as possible because I'm not paying full price for.
Exactly.
For
I think
it.
if you can get it for cheap.
Fair enough. Like recent example, sort of. I thought Shadow of the Tomb Raider, wasn't interested in it, even though I liked the first two. So I didn't get it. Recently,
Yeah.
it came out on PlayStation Plus. I played it, didn't really like it, and I'm glad I didn't spend the money, but I'm also sad that I wasted my time playing it because I didn't like it.
It's a weird trade-off, isn't it? Because you don't know, especially something like that, because that game has got such a, like, the first two, kind of like critically, everyone likes them.
I think they were,
Most people really like
first
them.
two were awesome,
Yeah.
especially
this
the
one was-
first one.
Oh yeah, definitely. But then the third one came out, and it was like, people were like, "Oh, it's like a 7 out of 10," and that's what a lot of
okay.
people seem to say. And it was like, okay, well, that's kind of worth trying.
That
But yeah,
I think the problem with a lot of games now is people think just okay is good enough. Like we've played games like God of War, Last of Us Part 2, all like a lot of those kind of games. We've seen how good games can be,
yeah.
but people still will play like Assassin's Creed Valhalla and be like, "Oh, that was great." It's like, was it any different than the first one? It's a Viking one now. Ooh.
I really wish that. I mean, they're fine doing yearly Assassin's Creeds, but if I was Ubisoft, I would have had them for the past 3 years or 4 years since Odyssey. No, what was the first one? Origins of this new open world version.
Yeah.
I would have had a secret team working on a proper, like, back to basics Assassin's Creed, where it's closer on the third person back of the head kind of
Yeah.
thing, and build it up like to be this really engaging story. And it comes out and it's like called Assassin's Creed. Call it Assassin's Creed 5. Like it's now back to.
Yeah,
But no, they're not, it's a cash cow, and they're fucking lazy and disgusting about it.
all of these
There's
companies, they're vile.
Yeah. It's funny because it's like you have like I don't want to say AAA because that's such a garbage title.
It's a term that means nothing anymore.
Exactly. But yeah, you have first party studios doing stuff like God of War and Last of Us, blah blah. You've got like all these. I was going to say on the Xbox side as well, but I mean, Halo Infinite doesn't look like anything to write home about.
That
But then
looks
the
like-
Gears franchise is good, like, and Halo was good. But then like there is room for like these AA or like really kind of mid tier games that are like $15.99, stuff like Little Nightmares.
That's a great
Like-
example. That's giving the people what they want.
Exactly. It's a 5 hour long kind of game, and it costs $15.99 or £20. Okay. You're not scamming people with microtransactions. You're not like putting these fake walls of completion in where they have to grind out something. Apparently Valhalla, you get to a point where you've got one mission left, but then you have to grind for like 20 hours.
Yeah. Well, isn't what a lot of these games do now? Because I think recently there was some like, not law, but like regulation that if a game has microtransactions and stuff, you have to put it on the box, like when it comes out. But I think what a lot of these companies are doing now is something like Assassin's Creed Valhalla will come out, and then within a week or two, there's updates that add the microtransactions and stuff in. So
Because
technically,
in
it
that
doesn't.
first week,
Yeah.
they can get all the good reviews.
Yeah,
and rating.
exactly. People will review it, be like, "Oh yeah, it's great."
I've
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think we spoke about it. I don't know if we spoke about this on here or if we just chatted about this last time, but now it's like over 80% of the costumes and shit that you can get in Valhalla is just microtransactions now, instead of being able to earn it.
Yeah, that's probably true. I'm like,
But yesterday I downloaded a game called A Plague Tale: Innocence
okay.
by a team I've never heard of. And it's just a super simple stealth action game where it's in like medieval France. You're a girl, a young French girl who's like barely 15, who has to lead her really young brother across like plagued France that's been attacked by like these inquisitors that are trying to like eradicate everyone. And there's like swarms of rats that just annihilate and eat people like the fucking beetles in The Mummy.
That sounds cool.
And the chapters are super short, and it's based on like set pieces. Each level is super memorable, really short. The gameplay isn't hard. You just pick things up, you throw them. There's no combat, and it's fucking awesome. Yeah, it's like, but you can still tell that it's been done by a team that doesn't have the budget of an Ubisoft title, because the lip syncing's kind of bad, and like the character models look great, but when they're talking, it's like, oh, I really want to. We need to go over there. It's like, that's fine. I can deal with it because the voice acting's so good, and everything around it is incredible. And it was $11.99 when it came out originally. It was 15 quid. It's like,
yeah.
Yes.
I think there's like so many issues where like, especially with Ubisoft, where they release a game that can look great, like sort of multiplayer game like Rainbow Six Siege or For Honor, that they look really nice. They clearly have like a big budget, and then they don't do anything interesting with it. They think just because it looks good, that's enough for people. They never really bother updating it to like add new mechanics, or like to improve mechanics in the games that are already completely broken.
This is what I don't get. Like I was saying, okay, so like, For Honor, that's got like a really nice kind of tight camera on the characters, and everything kind of, it grounds you and it's brutal.
Yeah.
It's the same engine as Assassin's Creed, and it's like, why is Assassin's Creed like pulled back like it's trying to be The Witcher?
Yeah.
And it's just waypoints and checkpoints and...
Like, there are good middle grounds with these kind of things. Because... I don't know, like we said about Little Nightmares, like it's super cartoony, but it's also like weirdly realistic looking.
Yeah, it's like it almost looks like everything's been sculpted out of like real clay.
Yeah, like it's really cool. Yeah,
exactly.
I don't know what point I'm trying to make. I just think that Ubisoft are really scummy, and they should work harder.
And it's not even like on the developers, it's on the directors and the producers who are like the company heads that are like, no, just bash this out. We don't want anything different. We don't want anything new. Whereas these smaller tier games and developers are like, okay, like Little Nightmares, isn't that is that Square Enix?
Yeah, yes. Because they did like Inside and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, I think they helped publish, and it's like they were clearly like, Square Enix has got their Avengers shitty game that they're trying to make millions off of. So they were clearly like, look, this small team, just do Little Nightmares 2, do what you want with it. Like, you've got creative control.
Yeah, because they're, like, the studio in their heads, they're probably thinking, like, that game isn't going to make as much money, so they can just do whatever they want with it. We don't really care much about it.
Yeah, cheap game.
Yeah, but they're getting their hands all in something like Avengers and telling them, like, you should do this, and if you do this, we can make more money out of it.
Yeah. Like, don't innovate, just do just copy, like, Destiny and...
Yeah.
It's just sucks. Like, I do hope that I did hear. So there was a report this week that EA, they've shut down Anthem. God rest its soul.
God, rip in peace.
Rip in peace. And they're moving that team onto like Dragon Age 4 and other things. But then they've also said like, we've told the teams that are in charge of stuff like Titanfall and like Apex, like Respawn, you are now in charge of that franchise. So do what you want to do. That is like, they should have done that 10 years ago, EA. And they're just doing it now. So now, if they want to make Titanfall 3, they can do it. And this is what the thing is, well, if they want to make Dead Space 4, they can do it.
Oh, God.
And that's all I want, because this is where this whole situation started. Dead Space 1 and 2, great games.
Great, amazing games. Dead Space 3
Dead Space 3, that was one of the first games, like, big budget market, to throw in loot boxes. That was the first example of, like, microtransactions and loot boxes.
But that was a weird example, because everyone hated that. They were like, why is this in the game? This is stupid. But, like,
I think... Sorry, go on. I was just going to look something up.
It's just that over the years, that's just become, like, normal. Like...
Yep.
When a studio releases a nice new multiplayer game, especially, you just expect that. And then that gradually has started seeping into single-player games.
Yeah.
It just sucks.
So... I'm trying to look, but... Dead Space 3 sold about 605,000 copies.
That's probably not.
And it seemed like most of the money that they made was from loot boxes, because people were just trying to grind it out. And also you could buy the little robots that go around and get you parts, because you could customize and build weapons.
Yeah.
Dead Space 2 sold 4 million copies. That, like, in, I think, the year or 2 years after. And EA considered that a fail. It's not a fail.
That's
like,
amazing.
It's really good. But no, that's not good enough for them. They can't just have money. They need all the money.
No, yeah, like when companies like EA or whoever will go to their like stockholders and stuff, they say the game actually underperformed, even if they make an insane profit from it.
Yeah. I feel like so Dead Space 1 in 2008 and 9 only sold 1 million, and they deemed that good enough at the time to make 2. But then when 2 came out just after, that was when, like, I guess this idea of microtransactions started to come into play, and then they were like, all right, we'll make Dead Space 3, but
it has to include
this. It has to include this. And make it co-op. And you had that boring ass, I forgot what his name was, like Carver or something, like the black guy.
Yeah.
You could play as, and it was just shit.
I don't know what the game industry is doing.
It seems like they're coming out of this now. Hopefully.
Well, it seems like a lot of these companies have learnt the hard way, like something like Anthem.
Yeah.
But what's annoying with Anthem is that it was a cool idea. It's the other one. I mean, it wasn't good anyway. But there's way more egregious examples of that kind of game making with these like roadmaps and stuff.
I hate that term, roadmap. That just show that when you hear roadmap, that just is
like,
a game that's unfinished, isn't it?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
But it's funny again, like I was saying about how Square Enix will get one of their developers to put out a game like Little Nightmares. You have Ubisoft doing that. I mean, the name's garbage, but that Immortals Phoenix Rising.
Yeah.
Apparently people like it. I mean, it's a Breath of the Wild clone, but apparently it's a good game. There's no microtransactions. It's just a game. And they didn't expect it to sell, and apparently it's like
if it's done really well.
So they know to invest back into these kind of things.
Yeah, like I mean, yeah, gamers are pretty stupid, but they
Fickle.
but they have some what do you call it? Like not common sense, I guess,
Hmm.
where they know when they're being taken advantage of.
Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly. Just like, but again, you were saying earlier, this comes full circle with the whole, gamers are quick to get angry about something because they want to be part of the conversation and shit on things. But then when that thing comes out, they're all over it.
Running by it.
My main point being, Overwatch 1.5.
Ooh.
We've redesigned the characters to have a much more. And it's like you look at it, and they've just put skins over the top of these
They've
models.
changed the skins. Oh, it's like this thing that people have been asking for a lot is a single player mode, and they're like, we've finally added a single player mode. No, you haven't. You've added bots. You can play the same game modes you can online just with bots. That's not what we wanted.
Whereas they could have taken a leaf out of like Respawn's book and been like, oh, wait, you wanted a campaign for Titanfall? Okay, well here's one of the best first-person shooter campaigns ever.
Titanfall 2 is a fucking amazing game.
It really is.
So good. Oh, God.
God, fucking damn. Fuck!
Like, they could have... Overwatch, even Blizzard, they could have done this. They could have just kept Overwatch as it was, and just maybe re-released it.
Yeah. And then made an Overwatch single-player game.
That would have been fine. But, no one even knows what the fuck they're doing with Overwatch 2 now.
And it's like, then you've got companies like Bungie apparently have just bought, like, a massive, like, Death Star style building where they're now not... It sounds like they're not just going to make Destiny. They're going to make, like, Destiny spin-offs, like a Destiny third-person story-driven experience, no multiplayer, or 2D platformers, like, just stuff in the Destiny world. And it seems like
That'd be pretty
Microsoft
cool.
are doing that as well. There's rumors of, like, a Halo horror game, like coming I don't know, in development. I don't know, but
I mean, that
stuff
might be
like that.
cool. But I think Halo has kind of run its course at this point.
Yeah,
But like, that is cool that they're expanding, like, and they're realizing, like, gamers don't just want the exact same thing over and over again. They don't just like Halo because it's a fun first-person shooter. They like it because it's a really cool world.
yeah. The lore is really sick.
So,
But variety is the spice of life. So hopefully they get back to that kind of thing. But yeah, I think we've chat on as many things.
We
should
probably get off because I'm about to have an aneurysm about the video games industry.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks everyone for listening to us run on and on and on.
Just go off about things.
And yeah, let us know if you want us to watch and critique student short films. Maybe send us some. Maybe send your own if you've got any.
Please. That'd make me so happy.
But yeah. Until next time.
And until then, thank you. Okay.
Oh, there's a state of play tonight. You probably